Playing softball. What? So, is anyone like tired today? Yeah. Who's a bit tired? Yeah? Yeah. Who's like just feeling so on fire today? A few? Cool. So whatever way you're feeling, I just invite you to be with me today. Kind of put what you're feeling on the side. Yeah? Just be with me. Because I'm committed to you. Okay? Can we do that? Yes. Sweet. Okay. So before we start, I just wanted to request one thing. During my talk, it's going to be a bit interactive. So I'm going to have I would invite anyone who's sitting in the back to come up and fill up these seats here. And also, we're going to have a partner today. So we're going to be doing something with a partner. So I'm going to invite you to pick a partner. And this person should be someone you kind of know. Someone you're maybe friends with or is in your family. Someone who knows a bit of who you are. And if you know no one in this room, that's totally okay. You can pick anyone and it'll still work. Okay? So can we all... Oh wait. Can you hear me? Yeah. Great, thank you. So can we all move for a second? So we're going to stand up, fill up these seats right here, and grab a partner. Go!
You can sit down here. Unless you want to talk to the chair. The chair will keep our secrets, don't worry. This is going to be difficult to take.
Thank you, guys. This is awesome. You're awesome. We're awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. Almost there. Okay, so does everyone have a partner? Huh? Do you have a trio? Okay, we'll do a trio. So, I just wanted to start off with who I am. Most of you guys know me a bit, right? For anyone that doesn't know me or is here for the first time, my name is Sam Orman. I'm 23 years old. I'm a youth pastor in this community. I've been here for about 2 years, involved with youth ministry. And in school, I'm about to be a senior, so I have 1 year left, and I'm studying psychology and human services. And I tell people that's like social work, right? And my dream for, I don't know how long, has always been to be a healer. I've always wanted to be a healer. And right now, I'm currently committed to making a difference in communities, like transforming communities. I do some work in the city of Bridgeport, and also just being a youth pastor. And I'm really committed to having communities get what's possible, and also having people within those communities get how extraordinary they are. Yeah? So that's like what I'm about right now in life. Yeah? So that's me. Cool, right? Cool. Yeah. So, also, I really wanted to tell you, like, why Sam? Like, why am I here? Why am I speaking to you right now? So I wanted to tell you a story. Do you guys remember Justin Nakamoto? Who remembers Justin Nakamoto? Raise of hands. Yeah, so Justin Nakamoto is an assistant pastor at the West Rock Family Church up in New York. He spoke here about two months ago, 2 services ago, right? And Justin's a great guy. He rocked this service, right? And also, Justin's a good friend of mine in life. And he's also like a coach for me in life, like a life coach kind of. For me, I have a few people that I go to in life just to seek advice from and to explore things, what's going on. We hold each other accountable. That's kind of like our relationship, me and Justin. So, whoa, Worcester, Boston, what? Cool. These are some people from Camp Aurora. So, about a month ago, I was having a conversation with Justin Nakamoto, and it went like this. How's it going, Justin? What up? We're good. He said, Justin, I have a problem. Can you help me? And he said, Sam, yeah, like what's going on? And I said to Justin, I'm really angry about something. I'm really frustrated with something. Just like really angry, and I can't figure it out. Can you help me figure it out? And he goes, yeah, like, tell me more. And I told him, I'm really upset with the church right now. I'm just like really angry with our church. And I don't know why. You know, just like really frustrated. And he goes, huh? And he says, it sounds like it sounds like there's like a complaint. Like, what's the complaint that you have, Sam? And I said, let me think. And I found it. And what I've been telling myself for a while is like, our church doesn't work. It just doesn't work for people. And that's what I've been like saying to myself. And he says, it sounds like you're being pretty right about that. And I say, because I am right. I know I'm right. And he says, how's that going for you? And I say, it sucks. And what I discovered is like, I've been really being right. I've been having this opinion about our church not working. And my experience has been like being angry for a long time. And I don't want to be an angry person. Like, I'm not committed to being an angry person, right? And I'm not committed to making other people wrong, or like the bad guys and blaming people. That's like not me, you know? I'm committed to like being a peacemaker. I'm committed to being peaceful. And he goes, yeah, Sam, so like, what do you want to do about it? And I was like, I don't want to do anything about it. I want to be right. And, you know, eventually, I just realized it wasn't going to work for my life to carry this opinion with me, you know? And this opinion was like really developed out of stories that I heard from other people about drama or about leadership or about, you know, disunity. And they were just like stories, you know? And then I just like made this opinion up. And, you know, I said, Justin, you know what I need to do? I just like need to give a sermon and really be authentic with people and really be vulnerable with people. And so today I'm here and I'm speaking in front of you for that reason. And I'm choosing to give up that opinion that I just made up. And I'm inventing a new opinion that actually empowers me. Amen. Yeah. And that's that our church does work. And so for anyone that shares a similar opinion to me, I like invite you to give it up today, you know? And I want to share with you and express to you why I believe that now through my experience at Camp Aurora. So I did I staffed at Camp Aurora last month, and it was like this magical, profound experience. And I wanted to share with you some like stories and observations that I made with our kids and with the camp and God. Would you guys be up for that? Yeah? Super cool. Okay. So just to share with you and build some context for Camp Aurora. Camp Aurora is our church camp, and we have many camps throughout America and the world, right? We have Camp Sunrise, One Heart, California. Camp Aurora was a camp started about 20 years ago in New England by Heather Tallheimer, Marjorie Busing, people like this who wanted to design a camp for kids in that region, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. Growing up, I went to Camp Sunrise. It was like my thing. How many of you went to Camp Sunrise? Yeah, most of you, right? And so I had never been before. Last year was the first time I was invited to go by my sister Virginia. I went, I loved it, I was hooked, so I went back this year. And what's distinct about Camp Aurora compared to other camps is that at other camps, the program works like this. Elementary kids, aged kids, come and attend camp for 1 week, then it's middle school for 1 week, and then it's high school, so it's back to back. But at Camp Aurora, all the camps are integrated. They're all happening at the same time. So what it creates for people is this like profound space. And so right when kids arrive to camp, they receive a team, and then they also receive a buddy. So big kids, these like big buff 18-year-olds, get paired with these like little 8-year-olds, And their job is to like take care of them and watch out for them and teach them and love them and buy them ice cream and make them feel special. And then these like tiny humans are looking up to these big older brothers and sisters, and they get to feel appreciated by them, you know, and learn from them as well. And so what it becomes is like this huge 90-person family where we're just like taking care of each other and having fun with one another. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So this is my team. This was Swag Money Squad. Swag Money Squad, it's lit! That was like our response, call and response. Don't ask me. I see some other team members over here from other teams. These guys were like great, they were the older high school boys. These were some activities that we did, just did a bunch of different things. This was like a declaration activity where people like declared what they were about in life, and they like jumped into a bed, a mattress. It was great. We did limbo with our buddies. Every night we had buddy activities. So even though the camps were autonomous and they taught different education for each age group, all of the camps were integrated every night with activity. This was Capture the Flag. This was Edward Hahn, who's from our community, taking care of his buddy, Connor. This kid is so amazing. This was our brothers for high school. This was our man day. We had a man day, and we like wrestled, and it was like great. This is Girls' Day, all the girls. And yeah, this was our big camp. Okay. So, at Camp Aurora, each year they have a theme, right? And as a staff member, we were invited to give a morning service. So a morning service is a talk before we start every day, and that just like creates the day for everyone. So as a staff member, I was like, yo, I'll give a morning service for sure. I'll talk in front of people. And I was like, give me anything. And they gave me something, and they're like, you're just going to talk about the theme. You're just going to explain the theme to the whole camp. Is that okay? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So, it's hard to unbutton a shirt with one hand. Bam! So, our camp theme was Stand Up for Love. Stand up for love. Yeah? And so for me, I didn't choose this theme. I didn't make it up. I didn't invent it. And I was responsible for teaching everyone what it was about, what our camp was going to be about, right? And I thought about it. I prayed about it. I asked some people, had some conversations about it. And this is what I came up with. Standing up for love, in my opinion, means being responsible for my life. And being responsible for all the relationships in my life, not only with people, but in all areas. My relationship to God, my relationship to faith, my relationship to school, my relationship to family, other people, and my future. Like, what's my future gonna look like, right? And I gave this talk, I shared some stories about my family and how I stood up for love in my own life. And I also made a clear point about love and how important love is. And as you know, I'm sure all of you know, in our church, we really value love to be one of the most important things, right? And I don't know what the specific quote is, but we have this statement where we believe that love is even stronger than the power of the principle, the power of word. Love is more powerful than the Bible, than the divine principle, right? Just like the strongest force on earth. And if you think about it, love is almost, love as a function gives us who we are. The reason why we live is because we want to love people, share love, be connected. So if you imagine for a second, you're living in a shack, okay? In a dark shack, okay? You're in the middle of the desert. There's no one around. No one to talk to, no one to have fun with, no one to share anything with. And you're alone, and you realize you're the last living person on the planet. And, if you think about that, I wonder what would be the purpose of that life? What would be the meaning in that life? There's no one to have give and take with. There's no one to share or connect. with love. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Yeah. So what I'm saying is just love is very important. It's important for us kids and adults and everyone to practice and be masters of love. So this is the point I was making about our theme. So I gave the talk, I gave it to the whole camp. And a question for the staff was like, how are we going to translate this theme to our kids? How are we going to have them get it, right? What kinds of activities, what kinds of things were we going to do to have kids really get what this means, right? And so Justin Okamoto was coincidentally the high school director, yeah? And along with Jensen Stevens, he's from Maryland, they were a team. And they had a team of staff who were there working for high school. And they came up with this like brilliant curriculum. And today I wanted to share with you 3 things that I learned from them that really made a difference for me, that made a difference for the campers. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I have a question for you. Okay, before the question, I'm going to explain what I'm going to be sharing about. So what was really cool and fascinating, and I don't think has ever been done before at Camp Aurora, the high schoolers were given 3 assignments. 3 assignments. So outside of the talks, outside of the activities, outside of the meal times, we gave the kids assignments. And these assignments were designed in order for the kids to practice what we were actually teaching them or talking about, and designed for them to discover what was stopping them in life, what they actually cared about, especially in their relationships, right? And so, I have a question. So for the first assignment, my question is, have any of you been in a relationship with someone before, and this person may have said something to you where you misunderstood it? And because you misunderstood that person or didn't necessarily understand, what they were saying to you, really, you started to question your relationship with that person. Has anyone been in that experience before? Yeah. And maybe because you started to question, you started to become anxious and like paranoid. Like, are they upset with me? Are they angry with me? Do they want to be my friend anymore? Has anyone had those kind of questions before? Yeah. And then there's this like space that it's created between you and someone else, and you don't know how to express yourself in front of them anymore. Yeah? So what if I told you I could offer you a tool that would wipe all of that away in one conversation? Like all of the mess, and leave you be left with an authentic relationship with someone else, with nothing in the way. Wouldn't you guys want to hear about that?
Wonderful.
Duh. You guys are winners today, so I'm going to tell you. So this is where your partner comes in, and we did something called an interview, okay? And so how this works is you and your partner are going to be interviewing each other. And I'm going to put up 3 questions on the board, and you're going to be asking these questions to your partner about yourself. Okay? So you're going to be interviewing your partner about who you are and their opinions about you. Okay? So in life we have opinions, right? Like I have an opinion that like I'm a big kid. I have an opinion that I'm a hard worker. I have an opinion that I'm confident. And other people have opinions about us, right? Like, he's annoying. He has, like, gross hair. He's awesome, right? People have opinions about us, too. And those opinions actually give us how we act with people, how we be with people. So, for example, like, I have an opinion about Kainche, that she's just, like, the coolest cat ever. She's so cool. This is real. This is truthful. And I always want to be around Kayon. I feel so loved. I have so much fun. We laugh all the time when we're together, right? So my opinion of her actually gives me how I relate to her. And I have an opinion about my boss, that he's a poor listener. Yeah? And when I communicate with him, I actually don't like sharing anything with him because I feel like he doesn't get what I'm saying. And that gives me how I relate to him, right? So what I'm saying is, like, our opinions about each other and about ourselves have a great impact on how we relate to the world and each other. So the purpose of this activity is to really get how you show up for other people in the world. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And once you know how you show up for people, you can begin to be responsible for how you show up. Okay? So, these are the 3 questions. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And what was your first impression of me? And what I request from you is that when you're asking your partner about the answers to these questions, that you really do not take things personally, okay? Because their opinions aren't the truth. They're just how you show up. They're made up, right? They're not who you are. So I'm going to tell you an example when I took something personally once. So I was asking a good friend of mine, I've done this with many different people, I've done it with my bosses, and it's like made such a difference. I asked a good friend of mine, what are my weaknesses? And this friend said, Sam, you talk a lot about doing things and getting stuff done, but you actually don't do a lot. And I was just like really getting him and listening. Thank you. But inside, I was like so hurt, like so furious, like I have 6 classes, I have 3 jobs, I'm a youth pastor, I take care of everyone and their mom, you have no idea, you're absolutely wrong. Like inside, just like, thanks. You know? And the thing is, you know, that was his opinion about me. It doesn't matter what I think of myself. It does not matter because his opinion of me is how he's going to relate to me. How I show up for him is how he's going to relate to me and treat me. Does that make sense? Yeah. So how you show up is really important. So we're going to do this. So you're all going to pick partner A, partner B. Ready, go. Partner A, partner B. Pick a partner A, pick a partner B.
I got this one.
Okay. So partner B, you're going to begin. Ready? Oh, one more thing. For anyone who's like speaking to a family member right now, this is not like a free ticket for like dissing them and getting away with it. You don't want to hurt someone in this. You just really want to be honest because it's an opportunity to really have them discover how they show up for you. Yeah? Okay? So partner B, you're going to ask partner A these 3 questions. It's going to go fast because we don't have so much time. And then I'm going to stop you all, then we're going to switch. Okay? Does that make sense? Everyone got it? Yeah. Go. One more minute. Yeah. Like that's how you show up for him. Like you can talk to anybody.
I never talked to him.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you. Round of applause. Okay. So does anyone feel like the space between you and that person you just shared with is like more clear?
Yes.
Like you know how they think of you?
Yes.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
To know how someone thinks of you? Now you don't have to question or like worry or pretend to be someone that you're not in front of them. Yeah? So this is a great tool to use anywhere in life, with friends, anything that's not working, in your workplace, with someone you don't understand. And so we had our kids do this with each other, like the first day of camp, first or second day. For one, to get them to connect, and 2, to have them discover, wow, I never knew that about myself, or I never knew someone thought that about me. I never knew I showed up like that, right? So this was great. Okay, so interview number 2. Sorry, not interview. Assignment number 2. What do I want to say for this one? Okay, so for our second assignment, we had our participants, our campers, look at a relationship in their life that wasn't optimally working for them. That was either like broken or not working, whether there was a misunderstanding or there was something that was said that was incomplete. We had them like look at that, okay? And so we had them write a letter to this person, yeah? And what we had them look at were these few things. What is my persistent complaint about this person? Yeah? What am I complaining about in this relationship? What am I being right about? What am I being right about? How does it impact me? How does it impact our relationship? And what do I really want in this relationship? What am I really committed to? Yeah? So we had these kids write these letters out to these people, and it was great. And then part 2 came, didn't expect this, but they had to make a phone call to these people during camp with a deadline. And this was so magical to watch, so incredible to observe, because these kids were taking responsibility for the relationships, and they were taking action outside in the world, outside of camp, and restoring relationships with people, and transforming relationships. So people were communicating with their parents, with their friends. You know, I don't know if anyone talked to a stranger, but it would have been great. And it was magical to watch people do this and create futures in their relationships. You know what I mean by that? Like a future? Yeah, like a new future in their relationship. And so I've actually used this tool since camp, and I wanted to share about my experience in using this tool, like this structure in communication. So right after camp, I visited a friend who lives out of state, and I hadn't seen this friend in about 6 years. And this friend is actually in the church, and with their whole family, and I visited their family because I'm like in love with their family. I grew up with them. It's where I grew up. And after a few days of being with him and with the family, it occurred for me like something was going on. Like something was going on that I didn't understand. Something wasn't working. And the whole time I was there, I was like trying to look at what was going on in their family, and like discover it, but also really support what was going on. Like, how can I make a difference here? How can I bring love to them, or joy to them, or fun to them? And I was like really thinking hard, like, what can I do to make a difference for this family who's going through something? And what I decided to do, what I wanted to do, was actually talk to this person, especially like my best friend growing up, and really listen to him. And the whole time I was there, just like considering when I was going to do this, when I was going to do this. And then this voice came up in the back of my head, like this opinion. Like, you haven't talked to him in 6 years. He's never going to want to talk to you. He's never going to trust you. Why would he want to share anything about his life to you? And this voice got me, and it stopped me. And I walked onto the plane, and I sat in the chair, and I was just so upset with myself because I didn't communicate with him what I really wanted to say. Yeah? So I left feeling like really upset after my trip being with their family. So I got home, called up Justin Nakamoto, coach, and I shared with him what happened, and I was just like, I have to take action. I have to call him up. So I called him up 2 days later. This is what I said to him. Hey, do you have a minute? I was like terrified. Hey, do you have a minute? He said, yeah, what's going on? And I said, hey, I just wanted to share something with you. I wanted to apologize to you because when I was staying with your family and staying with you, I was really being inauthentic. And I wasn't expressing how much time I wanted to spend with you and how much I wanted to be with you, to hear what you had to say, to be listened to. I didn't make that clear. And I realized that I've not only been doing this at your house this last week, but also in life. Like, for the last 6 years, I've been really withholding communication from you. And the impact that it's had on my life is like, I've missed out. I've been really missing your friendship. And I haven't been able to share anything with you. Fun. I haven't been able to learn anything from you. He's older than me. And I've been really missing out. And I want you to know that I really care about you. And I really love you. And I thank you for taking care of me growing up and watching out for me and being an older brother for me. And I want to create a relationship with you where we're open and honest and free to share anything. So that's what I said, like straight up. And he just listened. And he said, thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate you sharing that. And I want you to know that it was really nice to see you. It was just like old times. And I said, do you need anything? And he said, I just need time. And I need you to talk to me. Tell me how life is going once in a while. And that was it. That was our call. And so what I did in that moment was I created a future in our relationship which would never happen if I left him being like inauthentic and not expressing what I really had to say to him. Do you guys see that? Yeah. So we had our kids do this. Isn't that crazy? Our kids were doing this. If our kids can do this, anyone can do that. So that was assignment 2, okay? So lastly, third assignment, almost done. You guys okay? Yeah. You guys with me?
Yes.
Okay. Game.
Why?
How many of you guys have played a game before? Okay. Why do we play games?
Have fun.
To have fun. Ding, ding, ding. So we play games to have fun, right? So what kinds of games have you played before? Monopoly? What? Checkers? What other kinds of games? Volleyball.
Love letter.
Love letter. Yeah. What else?
Dominoes.
Dixit? Dixit. I played that. It's a cool game. Dominoes.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. Guitar.
Guitar. That's a game. Yeah. So great. You guys got it. You're masters. Those are all games, right? And we play them to have fun because we like to win, right? All those games you can win. We like to win in life, right? And I want to invite you to consider that there are other types of games that we play in life. And these games are different. They're distinct from ones that are on a board or physical, like physically active volleyball, soccer, right? So these games are like ways that we be in life, ways that we operate in life, okay? So, for example, me being a youth pastor, me choosing to be a youth pastor to take on that role is a game. Yeah? Like me stepping into that role is a game. And for me to win that game, I have to be a great youth pastor. And I have to get our kids coming back every week, right? And there's certain rules to the game, and there's ways that I keep track of it. Being a parent is a game. Having a child is a game. Yeah? What else? Like, okay, for example, right now I'm playing the game that I should weigh less than how much I weigh now. Is anyone playing that game?
It's hard.
It could be hard. It could be easy. Yeah. Anyone playing the game like you want to weigh more than how much you weigh now? Anyone? So we're always playing games, right? And we also play games that we're not really aware of. So for example, like, I've been playing the game for a while of being right. Like being right. Like being absolute about what I know. Like my opinion is the truth. That's the game I've been playing for a while, right? That's also the game that creates wars. Like when countries play that game, they create wars. Right? Also people play the game of like looking good. I play that a lot. Like, I really want to look good in front of people. I want to be admired. Yeah? People also play the game of like being liked. Who doesn't want to be liked? Right? We do things, we act in a way to be liked, right? Do you guys see that? So we're always playing games. So during camp for the third assignment, we saw that our kids were handling camp pretty well. Some of the high schoolers are used to Camp Aurora, they know what's going on, they know how to do these things, and they were just like really owning it. So we're like, how can we have them grow even more? How can we have them challenge themselves? So we invited them to play a new game, to design a game that actually would empower them, one that they choose with their rules, that by the end of camp would actually have them expand who they are and what they think is possible. Okay? So each of them were responsible for designing their own game. And these were the measurements to the game. So each game had to have players and rules, like specific people involved. Had to have specific measurable results, like points in a basketball game. You have to know if you're winning or not, right? It had to be measurable in time. It had to take place over a certain time period. And also the win or loss had to be like defined. You needed to know how to win or lose the game. Yeah? So, for example, the games were like insanely awesome. So some of the games that people played were like, an older brother in the high school group wanted to have an authentic conversation with every sister. By the end of camp, I'm going to talk to all the sisters. And I'm going to have an authentic relationship and conversation with them. That was like a challenge for someone. Another person really felt called and experienced God through praise and worship. Do you guys know what praise and worship is? It's when you sing with God with a group of people. She really felt like she experienced God in that way. She was like, I want to lead the final praise and worship session for the entire high school camp. And I'm going to create it. And I'm going to request that it's the most powerful praise and worship that anyone has ever done. She took that on herself. Yeah? When we were going to plan that. Other people played games like, for me, I wanted to sing in front of everyone. So I sang in front of everyone. That was my game. Also, I wanted to share about one other game, Edward Hahn. So Edward invented this game to bring together families. So what he did was he saw that there were so many siblings throughout the whole camp and all the age groups. And he decided that he was going to interview all of the younger siblings in the younger camps. And he was going to ask them one question about their older siblings. And that question was, what's the most valuable, important thing that your sibling has ever done for you? And he got all the answers, and he collected them, and he brought them back to the siblings. And shared with the siblings, how much they really meant to each other. He brought together families in his game. Isn't that crazy cool? Yeah? Even one other boy, really simple. I was like, hey, what's your game, man? And he was like, my game is to drink 3 cups of water a day. And I said, oh, is that a challenge for you? He said, yeah. And I said, oh, why is that a challenge? And he said, I don't have the time to do it. But then he caught himself. And he said, oh, wait. I don't create the time to do that. And he got personal responsibility in the matter of his life in that moment. So this is what our kids were getting. Giving up their reasons, giving up their doubts, giving up their opinions, and taking action. Isn't that so cool? Yeah, this is what we were training our kids to do. It was so mind-blowing. Every night we would have a staff meeting, and all the staff would sit down and just share what was being talked about with our kids. So profound how amazing our kids are. So actually, we can design any type of game that we want in life. We want to design games that empower us, that we're really clear about. It's really important to be aware about all the games that we are already playing. Being right. How would the world be different if we gave up being right? How would our church be different if we gave up being right? So, finally, I wanted to talk about God. And at this camp, I experienced God through 2 different, very special people. Does anyone experience God through people? Yeah, really great. So 2 people that I experienced God through were 2 kids, and they're from our community. And this is the first one. The one on the top. Takayoshi Kojima. Does anyone know who this is? Takafumi's son? Yeah. Yeah. So, he's up there. Takafumi. So I had this experience. Every day before we eat lunch, we gather and we sing in a circle, the whole camp. We just sing together, we pray, and then we go to the lunchroom and we eat, right? And one time, it was just a regular day at Camp Aurora, and I walk up to the circle, and Takayoshi turns around and he sees me, and he jumps on me, and he goes, Sam, 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 Sam. And you know, like a little kid, when they see their parent coming home, they just want to be held, just taken care of. He's like, Sam, 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 Sam. Just right on me, right? Just not stopping. And I was like, what's going on? What's up? How are you? This is what he says to me. And he says, Sam, you have friends. And I go, what? He goes, Sam, you have friends. And I'm stunned. And I'm like, why did you just say that? And so it occurred for me earlier that day, I was giving the morning service, right? I was telling the whole camp about Stand Up for Love, what it all meant. And in that morning service, I was giving a hypothetical example of what life would be like if I didn't have friends. And I told the whole camp, I didn't have friends, hypothetically. So in that moment, Takayoshi was trying to comfort me and tell me that I have friends, like this little kid. And when I asked him, I was like, Takayoshi, why did you just say that? He said, huh? Just oblivious. And then he just kept going back to it, jumping all over me, you know? It was I had never experienced God in that way through a little kid. I just felt that was God speaking to me for whatever reason, even though I made that up, that I didn't have friends, right? You have friends. And later, I experienced a similar thing with another boy in the same family, Minitsugu, his brother, his older brother. So, I can't make it up. And so I was having a 2-hour conversation with someone, and there was a campfire going on. And me and this person who were talking were skipping the campfire in order to have this conversation because we just wanted to talk. So we were talking for about 2 hours. We were about 100 yards away from the campfire. And Minitsugu, who's so cool, he comes running up to us, 100 yards away, just sprinting, running to us. And he has something in his hand. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, here. And he hands me a s'more. And I'm like, why? And he starts running away and he goes, you're awesome! Just for no reason. No one could have told him where I was or to do that. He just ran over and was like, you're awesome. And I turned to the person I was speaking with and I was like, God, why? You know? So I really experienced God through the kids at our camp. And I feel the space that was created there was so loving, so much like a family, that God was everywhere. Yeah? So in conclusion, I just have 3 points. 1, send your kids to Camp Aurora. You won't regret it. It's awesome. Right? 2, from experiencing Camp Aurora, I really feel our church does work. We provide experiences for our kids to be responsible in life. And not only have I experienced this at Camp Aurora, but also just in our culture, in our family. We're always taught growing up to live for others, be responsible for the world, to save the world, right? And I'm really lucky for that training, because not many people have that mentality. Not many kids think about other people. You know, they're very me-centered. And I feel our kids are trained from a young age to be other-centered. How special is that? And if we continue to put on camps like this where kids really get what's possible in their life, I feel the world would be very different. And finally, I realize more and more in my life that the more I take responsibility for my opinions, for being right, for my thoughts, for my communication, for my relationships, the more my life works. You know? It just works. So I want to invite you guys to do the same. And I have one final request. And my request is that we play a new game in our community. And the game is called Everybody Wins. And what it looks like is that everybody gets taken care of, and everyone is respected and listened to and included and acknowledged for how incredible they are and how much they work for our school, for their families. And I just want to take a second to acknowledge all of you. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for everything that you do. You guys alter the planet every day by being in this room. Really. Would you guys be up for that game?
Yep.
Show of hands? Kind of? Okay. Please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this